Have you ever watched a celebrity spiral publicly and wonder to yourself, how does someone with everything lose it all? It's deeper than fame. It's about intimacy, identity, and mental health. I'm Angie D. Lee, intimacy coach and therapist, and I'll be bridging the gap between pop culture moments with practical insights for relationships and self care. So, some of the things that we're going to talk about today are the false self in the public eye versus the true self in private, and how fame encourages people to mask the emotional pain. Think Britney Spears' conservatorship and social media freedom, and also Will Smith's lap, a moment of emotional dysregulation, and even Ray J with all of his antics. See, when your identity is built on being liked, you risk abandoning your authentic needs for external approval. This happens in everyday relationships as well. So think high exposure plus low privacy, and that equals relationship burnout. You have unprocessed trauma projected onto others, and your emotional safety being compromised. For instance, think of Kim and Kanye West's public unraveling. Jada and Will, their oversharing as a cry for connection. See, sometimes we confuse intensity for intimacy, and fame amplifies that intensity, attention, validation, chaos, while real intimacy is actually quiet, safe, and vulnerable. So let's talk a little bit about mental health, trauma, and performance. Believe it or not, perfectionism is a trauma response. Have you ever thought about this yourself? Like where you feel like you have to be everything to everyone, you can't make any mistakes, you do everything with high value no matter what, because that's how you have shown up in the world all along. And you feel like that's the only way that you'll be recognized and acknowledged is if you do everything perfectly. Another thing is living in a hyperactivated nervous system. So think fight, flight, or freeze. Also, look at social media as a pressure cooker for dysregulation. So an example of that could be Kanye West's bipolar disorder in the public eye, or Demi Lovato's overdose and recovery story. But honestly, you don't have to be famous to feel like you're always on. Many of us curate our lives for Instagram, at work, or even relationships until the burnout hits. So honestly, what can we learn from all of this? Here's some practical tips for that. Start prioritizing emotional safety over social status. Try to check in with yourself and not check out. So avoid escapism through busyness or performance. And do your healing in private, not performatively. And honestly, fame is not a substitute for fulfillment. I want you all to reflect on something for a minute. Where in your life are you seeking validation as opposed to connection? And who truly knows the real you, not the curated version of you? Also, remember, healing is not really a solo journey. There is power in intimate support systems, whether this is a therapist, a coach, a trusted guide, anyone that you feel that you can be fully yourself and they can receive you objectively. Think of vulnerability as a strength and not a liability. And as much as we've seen this over and over again in the media, you don't have to crash out to finally be seen. You can choose softness and you can choose support. Now, again, like we talked about, that false sense of self, those intimacy wounds, the emotional toll that it can take on anyone, these are some things that you can apply to your everyday relationships. Now, if you're ready to explore your own patterns of intimacy and identity, hit that like button, subscribe, and connect with me via my website at angiedlee.com. Fill out the questionnaire so that we can connect a little bit more on what's going on with you intimately and your desire to be seen, heard, and validated.